So how do humans affect the ecosystems? We affect ecosystems by pollution, conservation, and waste management. So we're going to look at each one of these now. So pollution, what is the definition? It's any harmful addition added to the environment, and it's caused by human activity. Okay, so pollutants are anything that can cause a pollution. So pollutants can affect the air we breathe, the land, the sea, rivers, lakes. So what we need to know is we need to know one effect of one pollutant from either domestic, agriculture, or industry. So I teach through industry, so this is the one I'm going to use now. So from industry, the pollutant I'm looking at is sulfur dioxide, or SO2. The source of this sulfur dioxide is from the burning of fossil fuels. The effect that the pollutant can have, it can cause acid rain, it can reduce soil fertility, and it can damage animals and plants. How do we control it? We control it by reducing combustion of fossil fuels. How? By using more renewable energy sources, or we can remove CO2 from gas emissions, for example, catalytic converters in car exhausts. So what you need to know is the definition of pollution. One example of a pollution from either domestic, ag, or industry, I'm just going industry. Now, what's the role of microorganisms in pollution? And the role is involved in decomposition and composting. Their role. Conservation. Conservation is the management of the environment, and management needs to be there. I would know 3 benefits of conservation. First one being it maintains biodiversity, it'll help prevent extinction, and it helps to maintain our food supplies. So we need to know an example of conservation. So I'm just looking at one in forestry and the importance of conservation in forestry. It helps to absorb CO2 from the air. It also helps to stop and slow down erosion. The conservation practice of this is that tree felling should be regulated, so only mature trees should be cut down, and if you can, plant deciduous trees. Within ag is the controlled use of fertilizers, also with mixed farming and crop rotation. And another example from fisheries is have fishing quotas, and regarding net sizes, have larger mesh net sizes than smaller ones. So that means if the smaller fish are caught, they can go through the larger netting. So it's extremely important to monitor the environment so that the problems are identified before they come too serious. Which leads us on to waste management. So is how, as a society, we deal with our waste. So waste management is necessary to prevent as much pollution as possible. But problems can be associated with methods of waste management. So with landfill sites, they can be smelly, unsightly. Okay, dumping at sea, we can cause eutrophication. If we destroy incinerators, that means that harmful gases can be released. An advantage I have here, it can be used to generate electricity if the gas is burned and the waste does not pose a risk. And another method of waste disposal is recycling. And again, they may ask you the role of microorganisms in waste management. So again, bacteria and fungi act as decomposers, and they're going to break down the organic waste. Heat can be given off by microorganisms, and that will help to also speed up the process of recycling nutrients in landfill sites. So methods of managing waste products of various industries. So you need to know one example of waste in forestry, one example in agriculture, and one example in a fishery. So one example of waste management in forestry. So we have small twigs and branches. They can be used to to rot naturally, and they can return minerals to the soil. Or large branches can be used as sawdust and to make MDF. With agriculture, slurry is going to be stored in large waterproof pits and then used as a fertilizer, and it's going to be spread on dry days, not on wet days. And then with fisheries, so the products of fishing are treated with chemicals, they're dried and pulped, and then they can be actually used as a fertilizer. So how can we control waste production? Our 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. So reduce, no wasteful packaging; reduce packaging; reuse, donate glass bottles; and recycle, paper, glass, recycle, and compost.